you've read a lot about meditation and then this whole other side of the human experience that has in many ways been banished from
Right.
every culture. So can you talk a little bit about that and what you know about that? Because I always like listening to you talk about that, and I think you've read about that, and it's so much what we do and want to do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I spent a lot of years practicing mindfulness techniques and meditation, insight meditation, mantra meditation, um, all sort of yoga, all these practices that helped sort of um, works on the autonomic nervous system and supports a parasympathetic kind of calming energy, and and after years and years of that work, I still found that like there was something that I was experiencing that it wasn't taming. It wasn't
Mhm.
allowing me to step back and find a peaceful kind of witness self about. So, um, the more that I entered into this vibrant kind of work, the more I realized that there's so much value in the meditative mindfulness end of the spectrum, but that supports the parasympathetic, which stands, like it's so valuable because there's so much stress in our culture, and there's sort of sympathetic arousal, and the extreme end of that is trauma, you know,
Right.
where the body is so, is flooded
Yeah.
and can't can't contain the energy, and you know it's well documented the effects of trauma. So the meditative mindfulness uh, work helps with that a lot, but we're still missing a key element, and that is the ecstatic experience.
Right.
That is the other end of the spectrum.
Right.
So there's sympathetic fight or flight arousal, but then there's expansive arousal. There's an openness to, you can describe it in a lot of ways, but to the larger energy field or to the universal life force or to spirit, however one likes to define it. But there's an ecstatic experience. And I know I told you I did some work with Bradford Keeney,
Yeah.
he's a marriage and family therapist and a shaman, and he worked with the Kalahari Bushmen, and he describes it as the original spirituality.
Right.
And these cultures, and there are many forms of this, um, engage in ecstatic connection to the spirit world. You know, so they'll dance all night. They move and move and they sing and they breathe and they charge their bodies not in a fight or flight arousal, but into an ecstatic experience.
Right.
And these places are, for me, these places are vital to my life, and I think for everybody. I think without having something that takes us into um, alternate states of consciousness, it's a very gray world, and we need these kind of peak experiences. And unfortunately, we've turned to a lot of distracting ways.
Right. Like doing drugs and
Exactly. Yeah. So I think this work is not just about healing, but it's about supporting an openness to the highest possibilities that we have as human
yeah.
beings.
Yeah. That feels like a really great place to end.
Mm.
Is there anything else that feels important for you to say? Anything else that's on your mind?
I am. It's just really delightful to dialogue with you about this, um, and I have learned a lot from your ventures into this in a on the other side of the country, and I just want to continue to support the radical aliveness aspect of that, because in many ways it is very very much part of the I mean, it's the same overall philosophy that we're trying to bring to the intimate relationship, uh, and it's challenging because there's still a large resistance in our culture to um, people losing control.
Yeah, it's interesting because thank you. Thank you. I mean, I feel your support, and I always feel like you're an ally in this work. And uh, I also feel like though there is resistance on one level, maybe it's because I live in California now, but it feels like there's such an openness to this now in the world, also in the business world. And I mean, it's really becoming something where people are speaking more and more about the need for support for our feelings and bringing our
Mm-hmm.
embodied selves to everything that we do. So I feel it as that there's something opening in the world towards this work.